Yep. Good morning. How is everyone today? That's a silly question because you can't answer. Jennifer, are you ready?
I'm working on the recording part of it.
Okay.
Bear with me. You can talk amongst yourselves.
So today you get just the tech girls doing this webinar, and we didn't prepare any slideshow at the beginning. I think that Jennifer's been doing these before. We have Brian here to help us to make sure everybody can hear.
So if you can hear us, some of you know the routine. We want you to go and raise your hands right now. So on that little recording, you can raise your hands or give us the BBS. And it looks like there's a lot of you out there raising your hands, which is awesome. So we're going to go ahead. You can hear us. We're going to put your hands down. So I'll try to put those hands down. Oh, switching hands here. All right. So we've got that in here. Now, as you also know, there's a area where you can write your questions in. So as the program goes along, and I don't know how the girls are running it, but you can go in and type your questions. As you know, is when Mackie and I are on, it's just ask questions all the time. But you do what you can.
It's going to be pretty open forum. We're just going to touch the basics of the customization. We have in here with us, we have Jennifer Hoskens.
Hello.
And Nora New.
Hello.
Nora's our new girl. Do you see what I did there? So the three of us are the tech support people, so we would be the ones that help you with this. Basically what we're going to go over is just kind of some of the very basics, and then just have you send emails after the fact to support@CAD-1.com if you need specific help. So as we know, there are quite a few things. Everybody can see my screen. Is this correct? Everybody can see? Yep, there we go. Okay, so what we're looking at is the 2016, and what we're going to talk about mostly is the PGP file, and we're going to talk about the CUI, how we're going to organize or be able to set up the screen layout, create workspaces, and then the steps for moving that over. We're going to start with the PGP file, which is the two key commands, or which are the two key commands. I really like the new interface and the ease of doing this. Basically, if you're of the old style, then where that file is, it's going to be under Users, your username, App Data, which you'll have to turn on. It's usually hidden by default, Roaming, Autodesk, and we're going to go to AutoCAD 2016, 20.1, ENU Support. And then the ACAD.PGP file is in here. This is where our two key commands are. Now, the key to this, the way that we used to do it in the old days, is we would just come in and change. These are the commands. This is the structure of the file. We would just change these to be what we want. The problem is that if we make changes to this file, those don't automatically get transported to the next version or migrated to the next version unless the commands are at the very bottom of the file under the user-defined commands. So if you still want to modify your PGP file manually, then you'll just make sure that you put everything that you add down in the bottom. Then we can just migrate it, and what it'll do is it'll copy it from the bottom of the current version to the bottom of the new version. So that's I like the fact that it's a much easier to migrate. What I used to do is just change the case. So in this file, I would put all of my things in lowercase since this is all uppercase, but then every single version you have to go pick them out and move them over. That becomes kind of a pain in the butt. But what's really nice is in the Express tools, we have a command alias editor. Now if you just have plain vanilla AutoCAD installed, the Express tools get installed by default, or the option is checked on by default. If you're installing AutoCAD Architecture or AutoCAD MEP, then this is not checked by default. You have to actually go and turn it on, or the Express tools do not get loaded. And this comes from about 127 years ago when the Express tools used to actually have a conflict with some of the functions of the 3D within those applications. That's changed, so I'm not sure why the Express tools aren't included. And it could be that the 2016 they are, but just just know that you need to check for those. So the Command Alias Editor brings up this nice little dialog box that is unable to be changed. So unfortunately, we can't make it
Deni,
bigger.
I'm just going to jump in here real quick, just so that we have everyone on the same page. We are here to talk about customization in AutoCAD today.
Whoops.
So just want to make sure everyone is on the webinar they think they should be on. We're talking about how to make customizations to AutoCAD, how to migrate them, things like that. So again, we want to say welcome, and I hope you enjoy.
Any specific things you're going to cover today?
The PGP and the CUI, and we'll go through where the customization is.
And all of those TLAs, which stands for
Three-letter acronym.
excellent, excellent. Good job, Nora.
Awesome.
All right, so we're currently looking at the Alias Editor, the Command Alias Editor, and the thing I like about it is how straightforward it is. I don't like the fact that you have to scroll to find your commands, but you do, or you just come in to the window and you type. So let's go to C, for instance. So many of us changed the circle command to copy. So it's just as easy as we just choose Edit, and we come down here and we choose Copy, or keep typing till you get Copy, and we pick OK. It says it's already defined. Do you want to redefine it? Yes. And now it says it's Copy, and it's just that easy. The nice thing about using the Command Alias Editor is all of these commands automatically go into the correct portion of the ACAD.PGP file so that they can be migrated over without any issue. So I'm going to say OK, and of course I have the confirm on, and so it's going to say, do you want to do this? Do you really want to do this? Do you want to overwrite this? Do you really want to overwrite this? Oh, cool. And then that crashes AutoCAD apparently. Let's see if it'll let me. Okay. So it's possible that C did not change to copy with all of those. It did not, since that crashed. But really, it's just that easy. When it doesn't crash, then it works. Okay, now the next thing I want to show you is how easy it is to migrate stuff over. Oh, how easy it is to migrate stuff that you set up within your CUI. The CUI is going to be anything that you see on the screens, whether it is your palettes that you have open, your ribbon, if you had any toolbars open, all of that stuff is saved within the CUI. And what I'm going to do is actually I've opened 15 and 16, so we can go make some changes to what will appear in 15, and we'll save it, or I'll show you how to migrate that over to 16. So let's say that we are in the process of migrating into the ribbon, so we still want some toolbars. So I'm just going to go ahead and open a couple of toolbars, or one at least. I'm opening, let's see, 0, let's go 100, 100, 1. All right, and all that does is gets the toolbar open. So I open the draw toolbar because I know that there is a toolbar. And I'm of the old school, so I'm going to, actually first I'm going to maximize my program. Now I'm just going to go and drag this over and dock it over on the right side. Swing and a miss. Let's try it again. Dock it over here. So now once you have a toolbar docked, you can then go to the, be careful not to touch the palette. Just go to the blank area around the toolbar, right click, and then you have all the toolbars available for what you may have used in the past. All right, so I'm going to also say I'm going to use the object snap, and I want that one docked. Now I'm actually a fan of no toolbars, mostly because I can't get them to dock. I'm actually quite a fan of the ribbon, and the ribbon's not going away, and I suggest that you use the ribbon, but for the purpose of this, if we look down, we have the ability to change workspaces. Notice that the Classic, the AutoCAD Classic is gone, unless you've migrated it, such as you see here. So we're going to ignore it. So what you'll see are these three are the only workspaces that you will start with. So we're going to pretend like we're in the classic mode. So I'm going to close the ribbon. and that's ribbon close is that command. And I'm going to turn on my pull down menus, which is the menu bar. And what I did is I went up to my quick access toolbar and the little pull down menu, and the show menu bar is there. You also can type in menu bar and set that value to 1 to kind of get back to this mode. Now this isn't a lot of things open. I'm going to go ahead and close the tool palettes. And I'm going to say this is where I want to start. This is my command line is docked. Everything is where I want it. Now what I want to do is I want to give this a name that is not an AutoCAD name. So I don't want to just update the drafting and annotation. I mean, you could, but this is your workspace. This is laid out the way you want it, so give it your name. So we'll just do the save current as. I'm just going to give it Deni. I'm going to save it. Now where that workspace went is into the CUI for 2015. So now the next step is getting that CUI just quickly over into the 2016. And this is the part, one thing that you can do, I won't be able to do it with this open, so we'll come back and show you that at the end. One thing we can do is during the migration process, it will allow you to migrate your workspaces from the previous version, as you saw in 15 when I was working in it, because I did go ahead, when you start the program with an older version on, automatically you're going to get a dialog box asking about migrating the previous version settings. If you say yes, I will admit as AutoCAD has progressed, the migration is better, but if it gets messed up, you got to start all over. So I will migrate everything except my workspaces. I will not migrate the CUI. Part of that is what in the past the experience has been that it just copies everything over, and as you saw in the 2015 version, it doesn't name them very reasonably. You know, it's migrated from. I like the fresh start. So what we're going to do is we're going to just bring over our workspace into our new CUI, and we can do that by just typing CUI
Down at your command line.
Yeah, I typed it down at the command line. There's also ways to get into it. I would have to go look. I started using AutoCAD in version 2.6 in 2.62 in DOS. I am very much keyboard oriented. If I can't find the menu in 2 seconds, I will revert to the keyboard.
It's going to be on the Manage tab of the ribbon to get to your CUI there. So
Manage.
And CUI right in the middle. CUI user interface.
There. It's big enough that it will bite you.
Yes.
All right. So once you're in the CUI, then what we want to do is transfer something from an old version. So AutoCAD 2016 is already open on this side, so I'm going to simply
Just
go
want to call out
on the
fact
left
that
side.
Denny switched over to the Transfer tab at the top of the screen there. Sometimes I didn't even know that thing existed until I started doing this type of work, so
And I,
super handy.
Thank you for catching that, because I say it, but I do it so quickly because I've done it so often. Okay, so then on the Transfer tab, we have the current CUI loaded on this side, which is ACAD.CUI, and it's the 2016 version. So what I'm going to do is open the 2015 ACAD CUI over on the right-hand side. So I simply just pick the Open Customization file, the little open icon, and then I'm just going to navigate to the folder. Well, we're most of the way there, so I'm just going to go back up to Autodesk and then to 2015. Now, I'm actually using Windows 10 on my laptop.
What?
AutoCAD 2016 is supported on Windows 10 with the Service Pack. So if you're ready to take the step and you're using AutoCAD, go for it.
It's about the only one supported at the moment, but
Yes, I have them all installed, and basically my experience has been if you can get it installed, it's going to run. Now, some of the bells and whistles may not be able to be used, but for the most part in the AutoCAD world or the Autodesk products, some of the ones that I maybe wouldn't take a chance would be Revit and maybe Civil 3D. The ones that are very, very complex, you're going to have potential issues with. Some of the basics, the AutoCAD-based products usually would be okay. And actually, I haven't had any trouble with Civil 3D, but I don't use it in a what's the word? Production environment. Thank you, Nora. She put that in my head. All right, so we see what I just navigated down to the ACAD.CUI. That's in 2015. That's the one that we made the change to. So then when I open that, you'll see that my workspace that I created in my previous version, this happens to be 2015, is there. Now what's really nice is you can actually create commands. We'll go ahead and we'll do that next, but what's really nice is anything that you do, any command that you created, any icon that you've added, the layout of your workspace, anything that you have added will actually come over to 2016 simply by dragging and dropping your workspace in 2016.
Deni grabbed that workspace from the right-hand side of the screen, dragged it over to where it says workspaces on the left-hand side and dropped it. And everything that she set up in there came along for the ride.
So now, and that's all you do. Seriously, all you do to transfer your workspace. So notice that I am in my drafting and annotation workspace, my default workspace for 2016. I simply go down to my little gear that allows me to change workspaces, and I pick Deni, and then I am back to the way I was working in my previous version.
Now notice in her previous versions she had the color scheme set to be the light background and everything, and that did not change. That's saved in a different location. But it did bring her toolbars and her, her ribbon being closed and her menus and everything like that over. So
yes,
that would be the one exception to the things on the screen that get changed.
And what Jennifer is referring to is information that is stored in the options file. Excuse me. So, and that is tied to the profile. So we have, this looks like I've migrated everything but the workspace. Excuse me. So the options file contains everything, almost every, not the options, the profile will contain most of the things that you see on these tabs. Not every single thing will go, but a majority of them will. And my opinion is the only thing that's worth moving a profile for are the paths that get reset. This is another thing that in the past has been problematic. Usually not since we've changed, since Windows 7 goes to Windows 8, but the transition from Windows XP to Windows 7 was a huge pain in the butt because your folder structure changed. And so when you just automatically import or migrate the profile over, you have that potential problems. Now the nice thing is being able to get back to where you start. So one of the things of customization that I'm going to recommend is don't ever, ever, ever get rid of what you start with in AutoCAD. The profile being a big one. This unnamed profile in AutoCAD, not a big deal. We can reset it without a big issue. Any of the other applications, it becomes a little bit more, oh, the sound is gone. Is everybody not hearing? Well, that's kind of a silly question. Can anybody hear? Let's have you raise hands if you hear. Okay, well we have some, yeah, some people are still hearing okay. That was Wayne.
So it looks like we do have the vast majority of people that can still hear us. So we're going to keep on.
Wayne said the sound is back, so I'll keep going.
Keep on rolling here.
What my and our recommendation is to make a copy. If you're going to make changes, like right now I have this AutoCAD, I can't even tell which one it is. AutoCAD 20-something. I would always do, this is why I don't, another reason I don't migrate profiles. What I would do is I would start here, I would make a new one, add to list. It's based off the first let's set that profile. Set it to the default profile, add to list, and I'm going to call it mine, and the version. And then if I migrate this profile, I know I'm taking a chance. So then I'm going to set that profile. Now is when I'm going to make my changes. Now the reason I would do this would be so that I can always have a reference of any of the search paths that I might reset. And if nothing else, I print them out. I actually am a believer of create a new profile in the new version, set it up, then you can push that to every other workstation, but at least start with the default rather than just importing what was old. If anything doesn't work, who knows what the problem is. Excuse me.
Goodness.
I know, sorry.
Yes, sorry, we've got a bug running around the office. We're trying to squish him out, but it doesn't seem to be working so well.
All right. So the types of things that you can then set in the profile, which of the files, and the big ones, the customization file, if you set an enterprise file, what the enterprise customization file does is takes everything so you can customize the workspace or the CUI in the workspace, customize it for the company. So if the company has a layout tab, I'm actually going to cancel here for a sec, and I'm going to switch back to the 2D drafting and annotation. Because adding in a ribbon tab or a ribbon panel, I say do a tab and then from the tab create the panel. But it's really beneficial because the ribbon, the CUI, is not version specific, which means that you can create a custom tab for your company and be able to use that for version after version after version.
Excellent.
And I'm going to go back into the CUI. So again, the Manage tab and then the User Interface. And let's take a look at just quickly how easy it is to create a ribbon tab.
This is an excellent idea. I mean, right now, this time of year, especially the week between Christmas and New Year's, you've got a little bit of extra time. You know, you can take those old toolbars that you've been using for years and years and turn them into ribbon tabs for everyone. And then they're with you again, and they're handier right up on your ribbon with the rest of your tools.
So the steps are you have to create a tab. So we're going to create a new tab. We'll call it CAD-1. Okay? Then the next step is you have to create the panels. That's where the commands live, and then you move the panels to the tabs. Okay? So we'll do this. We'll create a new panel. This is one thing. I hate having to do the scrolling up and down, so I usually close and open windows as I need them so I can see what I'm doing. So we're going to rename this panel, and we're going to call it CAD-1 Draw. I can't see if that's spelled right. Forgot my glasses. I'm going to assume it is.
Correct, yes.
Okay. Okay, so then what we have is, so on this toolbar, and you'll see over here on the right, in this area is where this panel is going to be built. So this is where I can bring up my command list. And this is how I would build your own data. So if you copy something from that's already in a panel, then if you make the change to one panel, it changes the other panel. It's got like this hidden link. It's very disruptive. I don't like that. One other thing is, even though you have to scroll forever, anything that you add is always going to be added at the bottom, and it's always going to stay at the bottom. It doesn't go back up and put things in alphabetical order. So those two things I like that they do that. So now what we do, let's say I'm going to build the draw command, so I'm going to go just and look at the draw tools instead of having to look at everything. And let's see, I do 3-point arcs, so I'm going to go ahead and drag that up and put it in.
Now, could you drag that instead over to the panel preview screen instead of up to the where it is on the customization file side?
I've never done it that way. Let's find our next one. Let's do a circle with a center, and we'll try what Jennifer suggested. I'm thinking that it must be able to happen if she's asking that question. Where's the darn center?
Center diameter, center radius?
Oh, okay. Nope.
Nope.
You can't drag it to the preview screen.
I've actually never tried that, so I was curious.
What you can do, though, is you can pick multiple commands, and then right-click and copy, and come up in and right-click and paste. If you noticed when I was dragging it that the scroll kind of gets away from you or has the potential to get away from you, and that's kind of a bummer when it does that. So let's say that that's all the draw commands that I'm going to have, or I want to separate them. So what I can do is I'm right-clicking on this, and I can add a separator, and basically what that does is it puts that vertical line. And let's go get text. Notice that I went into the command list and started typing what I was looking for, and then it populates it for me. So I want the multi-line text, and this is the CUI that the command lives in. So this, I want to pull the one that lives out of the AutoCAD, not the one out of the Alias context, so that it'll always be found. So notice that it's easy to scroll. This, since it's on the bottom, it's a little bit easier, but now I can drop that in. Excuse me again. I'm going to go ahead and apply this. Applying along the way is going to save it. Now here comes the tricky part. So I want to drag this panel up and drop it into my new tab that I made.
And you could probably copy paste that and make
Copy pasting is much, much easier.
scrolling a little bit easier there.
Yeah, but this is what I wanted to show you, why the scrolling's not so much fun. So then we have to expand the tabs. Got to expand the tab first. Okay. Well, there, it got closer. And drag it and drop it. Now that panel lives in that tab. Again, I'm going to apply because I don't want to lose it. But notice that that tab is not yet on this toolbar. I mean on this ribbon. Now this is where the bad practice, because I'm currently in the 2D drafting and annotation, is the current workspace because I set Deni. Actually, let's go and change that. We'll save this to this point. We're going to go back into Deni because you want to do all of these changes you want in your workspace so that they get pulled over. I'm going to go ahead and open the ribbon again by typing ribbon at the command line. This completely confuses me to have the pull-down menus and the ribbon tabs. So I'm also going to go and I'm going to hide the menu bar, basically turn the menu bar back off. Notice that I do still have my toolbars, and notice that the icons are giant so that blind old me can see them. All right, back to the manage, and that is controlled in your options file. Back into the CUI. So now what I need to do is in this workspace, I need to turn my ribbon tab on. So what I'm going to do is with this workspace, I'm going to come over to the right and choose Customize Workspace. And then I'm going to open the ribbon tabs. And what I'm also going to do, at this point I can get rid of some of the ones that I don't use, or what I want to do is just add the new tab that I put in. So I'm going to expand ribbon and expand tabs. Notice that there are a lot of tabs. If I were to turn all of these tabs on, it would just be, you wouldn't be able to see anything. It would be ridiculous. But what I want to do is come back in and I want to turn the CAD-1 tab on. And as I hit apply, oh, it went back without because I didn't save my workspace with my ribbon on. But it's saved. So I'm going to go and choose OK. And to be completely correct, I should have picked done and finished my customization. Now we're going to go in. I'm sorry, we're already in Deni. We're going to turn the ribbon back on. And notice that CAD-1 is now on the ribbon. I want this to come up each time. So I'm going to go into my workspace.
Turn your menu bar off as well.
Oh, thank you. Menu bar came back on. Thank you, Jennifer. I'm going to hide the menu bar. Now I'm going to go and save that so that my new workspace, Deni, has this information. So now it's already created. So I'm just going to save Deni again, replace what's there, and now I'm good to go. Now what's really kind of cool is I should be able to drag this workspace over to 2015 because it's not a version specific. So let's go ahead and let's do that.
Deni, do you have just a second for a question?
Yes,
How do you control the size of the toolbars in the options file? Can you demonstrate that?
sure. Whoops. Let's go back to where they're giant. So if we go into options, on the display tab, there is a use large buttons for toolbars. You just uncheck that and it resets your buttons to the size.
Pretty handy if you forget your glasses.
Yes, it's very nice. The other thing that's nice is resizing the icons to standard sizes on the ribbon. So what you'll end up finding is the more tabs that you put on the ribbon, then the ribbon shrinks to allow for this. So some of these panels that you see will become smaller and smaller as you add tabs. Now here's another nice thing is all the tabs that exist, or all the tabs that are on, you can turn those off and on. So these are the tabs that are on already in the CUI. So if I'm not going to use the BIM 360, sorry Jennifer, what?
And you get to that menu you were just at by right-clicking anywhere on the ribbon there.
Yep, so I got over into the blank space. I did a right click. Thank you, Jennifer.
It can be anywhere though on the ribbon. You can right-click on it. And then you can get there.
Yep. I'm out in the blank space.
Yep.
So the show tab. So let's say I don't think I'm going to use the BIM 360. Now this is the bad thing is you got to turn them off one at a time. A360, I might use that. Add-ins, layout.
I believe you
Parametric.
can also drag and move those into an order.
Mm-hmm.
What Nora just said, sorry.
It's okay.
What Nora was just pointing out is we can also rearrange them. So if I wanted CAD-1 to be first, I just can drag it and drop it, and now CAD-1's at the beginning of my list instead of at the end.
And the same for the panels along the ribbon
Yeah.
too.
Let's get one. I only have two. So let's say I like my output. I want the plot panel to be last, so I can rearrange it. You actually can drag your panels off your screen, and then you have this, and then so then you can, you could dock them. Nope, they won't dock. But if you have a secondary screen, you could go and put it on the secondary screen. A lot of times it's the screen acreage that we're losing. If you pull this off, there's a little tool that will send it back. So return the panel to the ribbon, sends that back to the ribbon from where you pulled it off. So that's kind of nice to have that. Now all of this customization, and again I'm typing at the command line to get the CUI, we also have the option of controlling the order of the ribbon tabs in the CUI. Oops. Okay. Technically, I suppose we should be in Customize Workspace to move it up. You can get rid of what you don't use, so I'm not going to use the parametric. And if I don't ever want that ribbon on, then I can just come over to the ribbon tabs, find the parametric, and uncheck it, and it removes it from the panel, or excuse me, from the tab list. So then this is what I always skip. I don't say done, I don't apply, and then OK. I just go to OK because it takes care of all of it. So now notice that parametric is also, since we removed it, it's also not an option to actually be turned off and on the tabs. And as Jennifer pointed out, you can also, or Nora, one of the girls pointed out, you can also control the visibility of the panels the same way that you do the tabs. And here's one thing that I like. I'm going to actually remove this, pretend like you didn't see that. What I don't like is when you're on another tab moving, you can't, I like when you can select something and tell what layer it's on. So I'm actually just going to quickly create a layer. Let's see, layer 1 is fine. I'm going to make layer 1 yellow because that'll look good on, or show up anyway on black. And then I'm going to change the properties of this. I'm going to change it to layer 1. So as we're working on different tabs, we're on the Manage tab, I like to be able to select objects and then see what layer they're on. And this does work, but you have to go back to the Home tab where the layer information is. So what I really like about, this is what I really like about this is you find a command on anywhere on your ribbon, and you can right-click that, and you can add it to your quick access toolbar, which is up here in the upper right. So now no matter what, left. Sorry, I do that all the time. So no matter what, I can pick an object, and it shows me what layer it's on, and it doesn't matter what tab. I don't have to go back to the Home tab to see the layer. So that's another thing, that quick access toolbar can also be customized. If you just right-click a command, so let's say the command Alias or the CUI is another one I use all the time, so I can just pop it up there and notice. You do have a finite area that you're allowed to put stuff in, so after a while it's going to come and you're going to have a list of things that you're going to, that you'll have to turn off and on to be able to see. The other commands, let's say I don't use Save As very often, so I can also remove that from the Quick Access toolbar. There are some of them, again, if they're in the CUI, you can go turn them back on. Okay, so then again, let's go back in. I'm typing CUI. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use my new tool. I'm going to go into the CUI using my Quick Access toolbar. So here's your Quick Access tools. So we have the Quick Access tools that come with AutoCAD, and then we have a copy of them. And I'm going to say that this copy came when I was messing around helping somebody, and I did change it. So then in your workspace is where you will see the Quick Access toolbar, and you'll see the options of it. Or it looks like maybe I'm using the one that I'm using is the copy. So we, again, customize your workspace, choose the one that you want. It has the information in the Quick Access toolbar, and then you can drag and drop and add and remove what you need or what you want from the Quick Access toolbar. Okay?
Sounds good. I know I use that one all the time.
Yeah. Jennifer, Nora, do you guys have anything to add that I may have forgotten?
It's great for those frequent commands. You just put them up there on the Quick Access toolbar. You know, the buttons that you are always trying to find. You know, put it up there, and then you always know where it's at. So it's a really handy one.
If you've created CAD standards for your company, it's a good thing to make your own. That way you don't have all the other stuff and kind of condense it to just what your users need to save time through going through tabs.
Yep.
Should we open it up to questions? Does anybody have any questions about what we've shown? I know that we went through it quickly, and as I mentioned in the beginning, if you have a need for this, then just send an email to support@cad-1.com, and one of the three of us will be able to help you out with getting your customization migrated from one to another, or have a conversation with you about how to set up your customization so that it's easier migrated on the other side.
So we have a question from Carl. He asks, I have had problems adding Civil 3D commands via the Alias editor. I had to hard code them into the PGP file. Any idea why that is?
The ACAD.PGP is an AutoCAD based, so anything that is from an application add-on, it may, may take that extra programming. You might have to hard code it. Jennifer is our Civil 3D expert. She might have something to add to that.
I don't know that I've ever tried adding Civil 3D specific commands to the PGP file. Through Lisp routines, yes, but probably not through the PGP file directly. So. Okay,
so this is possibly going to break us, but I'm going to go ahead and open up Civil 3D in the background, or in the foreground, and we'll go ahead and we'll give that a try and see what happens with that.
Now, Laura had a great question. Will this work on AutoCAD LT 2015? AutoCAD LT?
Yes. It should, the CUI part and the PGP. Now the difference is that AutoCAD LT, what did you ask? 2015?
Mm-hmm.
The difference is AutoCAD LT 2015 does not have a profile that you can set or migrate. But as far as the CUI and the PGP file, they're available. Now you don't have Express tools in LT, so your modification will be opening up the ACAD LT.pgp file, and then you'll need to manually add whatever changes you're going to make down at the bottom. That PGP file is it just simply goes line by line. So you don't necessarily have to remove it from the top section. Let me go ahead and open that back up again. I'm just going to open up the ACAD PGP. The LT is very, very similar. But basically, you can leave, let's go to C. C can be circle up here, and we can go down to the bottom, and we can add C in and make it copy. And because this file is read line by line, it's going to read this line last, and it will make that, the command will be copied. So now the difference is when you do it within the ACAD.pgp such as this, so when you do it in AutoCAD LT, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save it, and I actually close and save is my mechanism for doing it. Go back into, so when you get back into your AutoCAD LT, regardless of the version, you're going to do a reinit. It's R-E-I-N-I-T. And then once you issue that command, you're going to check the PGP file and then simply pick OK. Now that PGP file's been read in, now when I hit the C command, notice at top what it comes up with is copy. Copy is my first option.
Excellent.
Okay?
Is Civil 3D open, or should we take another question in a minute?
Civil 3D is open. So let's go into the command alias, and we're going to add one, I presume is what we're going to do. So the alias will be, Jennifer, I'm going to rely on you to help me with the command. What would be one that we would add?
Create profile, I guess.
Okay, so
but we may have to click on the button to figure out what the actual command is.
CP, where is profile? We're going to back out of here and find out what the actual command is. How about points?
Points works.
Because then we'll do point creation tool. So it's,
and then,
I'm going to just copy this.
And that's just going to bring up the toolbar.
Right. So. Which is what I would expect, that it's just the shortcut to get it started. Command alias, I'm going to add one. I'm going to call it P for points. Or should we do P? I guess it doesn't matter.
CP for create points.
CP, and then the command, notice it says AutoCAD command. See if it'll take that. Do you want to add this to your list of commands? Yes. Okay. And do you want to redefine? CP is already for a copy. Yes, I want to redefine it. Okay, it's been changed. So now when I type CP, see what we get. Copy. So I think this must have been what the process was. So let's go and open the PGP file. Autodesk C3D ENU support. Oh, nope, this is where it should have gone. At the bottom, whoops, it's where I would expect it. So it did not go there. And who, I apologize, who was?
So that question was from Carl.
So Carl, you're correct, but we should be able to add it in here manually, and then you'll just have to reinitialize.
Let's see.
Because it went through exactly through the process as if it were changing it, and it certainly did not.
So if we type it in as a command at the bottom there, then it should work?
Yes,
Excellent.
We'll go ahead and do that. So the syntax is the command shortcut, a comma. The space isn't necessary. I do it because it gives you some visual difference between the shortcut and the command, and then I'm just going to paste the command in there. So then when I save that and I go back into Civil 3D and I do my reinit for reinitialize the PGP, so now CP should be that command.
Or unknown.
Or unknown. So let's do.
This is why the boys always say,
yeah, don't do it, right? Okay, so now let's close that. Ah, that's why. It's create points.
Ah, there we go.
So let's see if we type this one in. So finding out what the command is, I guess, makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to jump on to another question while you tweak that, if that's all right.
Well, you know, that was, these questions come through at the end of the webinar, so Carl, we'll look into that and see if we can find if it'll do it if we get the right command in there.
Okay. So, Jareen, I hope I'm saying that right, said, you briefly mentioned resetting profiles. Can you show how this is done?
Yeah, actually, and you want to do this only in AutoCAD because although the tool is available everywhere, it's going to reset the AutoCAD profile. So there's something wrong with the PGP in 16 or in my 16. Let's see if I actually have the service pack installed. Maybe that's my problem. Nope, I do. So I broke it some other way. Okay, so in options, if you've messed up your profile so much that you can't get it back to the way it started, then you simply select the profile that you want. Let's set this one current. And then you just simply come over and choose reset. And it's going to reset. It's going to say it's going to reset your profile or reset the state of AutoCAD. Yes. Okay, and so what that's done now is that profile is reset to the vanilla AutoCAD profile for 2016.
Default out of the box.
Yep. And at this point, I would go back in and I would rename this to original profile, something, just so that I know that I reset that profile. So if you choose this reset, it's going to give you AutoCAD. So if you happen to do this on your Civil 3D profile, then you're going to have a little bit more trouble getting that back. You probably have to reset your Civil 3D back to the original settings. And I don't know that I'm going to actually find this in Windows 10.
Type it anywhere on the start menu there.
So
reset settings.
Reset.
There we go.
So here's the reset settings to default, but it doesn't tell me which one it is.
I gotta love Windows 10.
Yeah, but it's on there. If you're in Windows 7, it's going to be under the application. So you're going to choose all programs, then you're going to choose the application, and then under the application you're going to find the reset settings to default. I believe, I can't remember if Civil 3D 2015 has the option,
yes,
but 16 does.
Yes, 15,
and that was
16,
key in Civil 3D because it was such a pain to begin with. Okay, next question.
Ron asked, do you have plans to demonstrate how to customize and create tool palettes?
That's a little bit longer. We do have actually a recording from a couple of years ago that is a tool palette. Actually, I think Warren may have done one this year or last year.
He did
so,
one just recently, I thought.
Yeah. So, Ron, if you send an email to support@CAD-1.com, I will send you the link to that recording, and or we can get together a one-on-one and I can show you quickly how to do that because it's really an environment setup.
If you want to bring up our website real quick to show them the link to our YouTube channel for finding that as well, that might be great. I'm going to go ahead and ask the next question here. We've got a bunch coming in. Kevin asks, how do you recommend migrating project file search paths? I commonly save and export a named profile and then import into the new ACAD version.
That is the only way to get the search paths over without having to recreate them. And it is better now than it used to be. So for that, I say go for it. Since we can actually reset the profile relatively easily, and or the fact that it comes in with a named profile, then we can get back. As long as you don't get rid of the original, we can get back to it relatively easily.
Oops. So right on our home page here is our CAD-1 webinars on YouTube. If you just click on one of those, it's going to open up our, or it's going to start playing it right there. If you click on the YouTube link there, it'll take you over to our YouTube page. You can click on CAD-1 Webinars. It takes you to the actual CAD-1 Webinars page. You can search on CAD-1 Webinars for tool palettes. Any of those options will get you to our videos. I believe there's also here, it'll take you to our webinar archives as well. You can see upcoming webinars that are scheduled in here too. So just a few options for getting around there.
Thanks, Jennifer.
So Kevin, did we get Kevin's question covered basically? That was the one on project file search paths?
Yes, I think. Did that answer it for you,
Hopefully
Kevin?
that answers the question for you. If not, shoot us back a quick note there. Walter says, hi Walter, the way you showed to turn on the draw toolbar, is that the quickest way to turn on a toolbar since they did away with the toolbar button?
That's the way that I do it. You also,
As with anything in AutoCAD, there's
100 ways.
100 ways to do it.
You can go into your CUI. Again, I typed it at the command line. This is just my practice. Sorry about that. You can pick the workspace that you want to turn it on in, customize that workspace, expand the toolbars, find the one you want and check it. Let's actually say we're going to turn on modify. And then you're going to say done and apply and OK. And then when you reset Deni, then you'll have that additional toolbar turned on.
Also, if you go to the show,
It's right over here.
If you turn the show my menu bar back on, which I personally like to have on, if you go to tools,
We'll get you changed over eventually.
palettes, you can also turn, or there's the palettes and then there's the toolbars.
Toolbars, sorry. Toolbars, and then go under AutoCAD and you can turn them all back on that way. So there's a few different ways to do it. That probably the menu bar would be the absolute quickest. Once you have one toolbar on and docked, all you have to do is point to the gray area and you have the rest of them available. And all of these that you see are the loaded CUIs. So if we go back into the CUI.
And we had a side question on that. How did you get the pick boxes to show up when you expanded the ribbon under CUI? So if you're going back into CUI again,
Okay.
maybe you can show that real quick.
How did I get what?
So it's when she's in her workspace and she clicks on Customize Workspace that those checkboxes show up.
Yes, sorry.
So I think that was your question there, Jim.
Right. So then if you expand, then the checkboxes. So if you're not in the Customized Workspace, you can see the toolbars, but there's not a way to check them.
Yes.
So you have to actually pick this Customized Workspace toolbar.
Excellent. All right. Daryl asked, will you be sharing your email address? Again, our email address is support@cad-1.com, support@cad-1.com, and that will come in directly to the three of us. Daniel says the first option when it says, do you want to add it to the command list, I always hit no and it works for me. So that maybe was a comment on when you were adding commands in through the alias edit dialog box there. Daniel Gerardo, he says you should make a shortcut for alias edit, AE. So that would be probably handy with the number of times you went into it today, Deni.
Yeah.
So again, our webinar archives are on our webpage or on YouTube. Just search for CAD-1 Webinars. You can contact us at support@cad-1.com. The three of us will be taking emails pretty much every day.
The nice thing about this email address is the three of us monitor this email address. So it will be received and it will be addressed. I will say though that the actual assistance with the customization is slightly outside the scope of just installation. We do it as far as the migration, getting your tools in. For creating toolbars, it would be a special instance. Since we offered to do the help based around this webinar, reference the webinar and we'll call you. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make that a priority. I'm not going to say we're going to ignore you, but calls coming in and stuff. But we will address your email and let you know if we're really super busy. This is very much a slow time of the year, so we should be able to help if you have that need.
Excellent. Let's see here. And Kevin says, great job, ladies. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Do you have to have a contract with CAD-1 to utilize the support at CAD-1 for any support? We do offer a one free opportunity to give us a call or shoot us an email with your support questions. Again, we'll help you out today if you reference the webinar, but on a general basis, we offer a one free trial opportunity to try us out. And then beyond that, then yes, we do ask for a support contract to be in place.
What we're about to launch a new support tracking package, and with that, you will be given, if you have a support contract, then the emails coming in automatically get higher prioritizing.
Yes.
Prioritization?
Sure.
What's the word?
Sounds good.
So look to have things change a little bit, and we are also going to incorporate an access from our website on the technical page on our website to submit case information or to submit a support request. So hopefully, we're very excited about this, and hopefully it'll make life a lot easier for you, but just because you don't have a contract, don't not send stuff in. It's ridiculous for you to be stuck, and we will help you.
Yes. And 4 hours of banging your head against the desk is not worth it. Definitely.
No.
So, again, thank you all very much. Have a very happy New Year. We are right at the 11 o'clock hour, so Merry Christmas to all.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
If you have any other questions that weren't that we missed by any chance, or additional questions, also feel free to send those to support@cad-1.com.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye.